Back to that night in Pittsburgh. Remember the PR guy? What happened? Did he get left behind?
Yeah, so I think his name was Keith. I believe Keith.
Yeah.
We can beat that out.
Yeah.
No.
So
listen to this.
Well, so we started, and really we started at night, and we started with this they had to carry all this gear up this mountain, and we noticed we just started the exercise. We've only been about 45 minutes in, and we noticed he'd started to become a heat casualty, right? So I called the medical heat casualty. He was
what's that? Yeah,
he was done. He couldn't go anymore. He was overheated.
His body went into shock.
Yeah, well, not yet, but he was, he was profusely sweating, and so we stick him by this tree, and we gave him a 5-gallon water can of water, and we're like, here, sip this water, just sip it throughout the night. And so I called the medical team to come get him. Well, we went on the rest of the mission. So next thing you know, it's 4:00 in the morning.
We're getting on the bus.
These guys are getting on a bus, and Frankie Bonomo goes to me, hey, we're missing a guy. I'm like, and our mantra is never leave a man behind, right? and I'm like, so we get on this gator. We're driving tonight. It is now, you gotta understand, we are at
pitch black.
Pitch black. It is pitch black. We're in the middle of the woods, Camp Smith, New York, middle of the woods. And we drive up, and I see the guy sitting by the tree, and he's like, I knew you'd come back for me. I knew you'd come back for me. And I was just like, that was good. So it was good.
You're like, oh, that's
and then the last funniest part of that was, I don't remember the exact setup, but I remember you had a couple Army Ranger buddies of yours and with some paintball guns. And did we have to go get a flag or something?
Yes.
But Evgeni Malkin had a classic line in this story.
Well, these guys were, they were assaulting this objective. This was the next day, and they were doing these different assaults. And so I had former
snipers.
Yeah. And so obviously using, elite paintball guns. And so Malkin was kind of maneuvering, and they saw him, and he was actually doing a pretty good job. So then they opened up with a paintball machine gun. And, he takes cover, and he was like, they got the machine gun. They got the machine gun.
He's on the ground going, they have machine gun.
Probably learned that in Russian school.
Just getting painted.
He was great, though. You know what? He was great. Everybody that there worked so hard that day.
Well, I mean, we had him on the podcast, and this might have been a question you were going to ask, but Sid, he was there. What type of leadership qualities did you see in him just from that experience?
First year's captain, I believe, that year.
Sid is one of the best leaders I have ever come across
in any walk of life.
In any walk of life. I've had personally walked with him. I watch him stop and hug some little kid and sign his autograph, and the kid was bawling I'm a Pee-wee player and I'm not very good. And Sid was like, yeah, I wasn't very good either, and signed his jersey, and just all these human touches, and because he's such a professional, he puts the hard work in, he cares about others, he responds positively. That is exactly what you want in a leader in your organization. Exactly what you want. I got to tell you, another young man who's following that footsteps is Alexander Barkov in Florida.
Oh yeah.
And he's got the Russian dad, the Finnish mom, and his dad, I believe, was an assistant captain in the Finnish Elite League back in the day when they didn't let Russians be assistant captains. And his father was a great leader. And obviously imparted that on him, and he has those attributes too: hard work, caring, wants to be successful and wants to help his teammates be successful. Yeah. So yeah,